Hey, welcome back to the channel, man. Welcome back. Go ahead and like this video, comment, let me know where y'all from and who you rocking with. Let's get right into it, man. So Moneybagg Yo was telling Big 30 and everybody else, and everybody from CMG to stop wearing the CMG chains, stop wearing the BG chains, because of the fact that when the CMG RICO, if they look into it, anybody that's wearing the CMG chains is going to get wrapped up into it because they're actually like advertising for them. They marketing the chains. And when they wear the chains, that means that they agreed to being part of the whole team, like they're a member or something of it. And that's how Gunna and them got wrapped up into it, because they had the YSL chains. Like everybody that had the chains is going to be involved in it, because they're going to be like, oh yeah, this person is with them, because they wouldn't be wearing this if they're not. Like, not everybody's going to be able to get a CMG chain unless they're in CMG. And so that's why they're looking at it. Yo Gotti, he's been hiding, and they've been telling each other to melt it down and basically turn it into something and sell them to the jewelry shops and the pawn shops. And it's a lot of people that's trying to get Moneybagg Yo's chain. Like, he still had that situation with Finesse 2 times, and that ended sour. So you never know. Like, there could be a lot of get back for that. It could be chain snatches in the future. You got to understand that they're in Memphis. They got OG Bangwayne, who's like the master chain snatcher. He goes around and gets a lot of the chains from any rapper and collects it, because when they need the chains and this and that, he comes through, and he's the one that usually does a lot of the dirty work around there. And he even got Big Moochie Graves' PRE chain one time, and they tried to get Key Glock's chain. But remember when they got Lil Migo's chain, that's when this whole thing started. Once they got his chain, Moneybagg Yo went to Yo Gotti, and they was talking to each other like, man, you think we should, you know what, this chain situation and people targeting them for their chains and everything like that, they might as well just stop wearing them anyways, because that's already pinpointing them to be tied up to CMG. So if anything connected to Dolph comes back on the whole CMG group, then, you know, they already know, like, hey, they got to stop wearing the CMG jewelry and the rings and everything like that. So that way they don't have to put them together with that if they go and sweep the whole crew for the Young Dolph situation. And that's why Moneybagg Yo is sitting back looking at it like, man, he hasn't heard from Finesse 2 times to confirm or anything like that, whether, you know, they're on bad terms or nothing. So that's like up in the air. And then another thing is the fact that Yo Gotti and everybody in Blac Youngsta, like the way that they've been hiding out and everything, is almost seems like they already know something was going to happen. And so that's why they're not speaking on anything like that. And you seen how in the interview when they asked Yo Gotti at the Jay-Z Rock Nation brunch, he didn't want to answer no more questions on the Glorilla situation, because the Glorilla situation had just happened. And that's already making it look bad for CMG, because it's like anytime something happens, the karma is following them everywhere. And that's why Blac Youngsta is hiding indoors. He knows that it's going to be something that's coming soon. And due to the fact that Big Jook and Shondell told a lot of stuff about what happened with the getaway car situation, how they did everything. And because they was really grilling them, they told them that they give them 100 years if they don't tell on Moneybagg Yo. They told the other dude they'll give him 100 years if he don't tell on Yo Gotti, because of the fact that they got Yo Gotti's brother, and he was actually the person who was doing a lot of the stuff with Blac Youngsta. They were riding around. This isn't the first time they had gotten into a situation with Dolph or anything like that. Like, it's happened multiple times with Big Jook and Blac Youngsta, and that's why they separated. Like, you don't see them hanging out no more, due to the fact that they have to be separate, because if they seen together again, and the way that people are doing stakeouts and everything, if they seen together, then they're going to think that they still working together to plot some other thing. So then they would have to come and get them before anything goes down. Or like if they're trying to get Key Glock or something like that, they'll be like, anytime you see Blac Youngsta and Big Jook at the same place, then that's how you know something's about to go down. And the last time people seen them together was when they were in Yo Gotti's mom restaurant, when that one video came out of the couple days before the November 17th Dolph situation. And basically you see them all in a room. And then when you look closely, it was Blac Youngsta and Big Jook, and everybody was leaning in like it was a huddle or something, like they had a play to run. And you know what they was talking about and everything, it could have been really like them planning what was about to happen the next couple of days, on what they were going to do, and the way everybody's supposed to be reacting, where people are about to go. He was letting them know that he was going to be leaving town and everything. And so that way, whoever it is that that does it or whatever, they'll be able to see them in the Bentley driving off on the way to go out of town. And so they were like making sure everybody knew where they were going to be and what was going to happen and all that. And it was just like a moment to where it's like, dang, how come they didn't know that? How come they didn't release that? Maybe that's why all of them 12 went to Yo Gotti Mom restaurant when the whole thing happened, because they knew that that's a meeting place that they had all the people at just a couple of days before. And so they were like, oh man, they're going to know that somebody was going to try to come over there and be like, yeah, did you guys plan this, or did you guys know this was going to happen? And that's a lot of big questions. And so because everybody's trying to get justice for Dolph. And so now the whole trial is going to come up. They're going to call Yo Gotti and everybody, Moneybagg Yo and Blac Youngsta, to the stand, because they're going to all have to explain where they were, what they were doing and all that. And you never know that they're going to bring up the past history and the involvement, the business involvement, them all being in the same city. And they're looking at it like, who's the last person that Dolph was like actually having problems with in Memphis? Like they already tried him in Charlotte. And so they looked at that and they were like, yeah, they already have history between Blac Youngsta, CMG, and Dolph. And that's why they started looking into the whole group. And people were like, man, this whole thing has to be from that baby mama drama or something like that. And so that's what people were thinking was like one of the scenarios that could have been a reason why. And another thing was that the fact that it could have been where he had a lot of the money on him. Dolph had a lot of that, the chrome heart bag with at least 100K. And people were saying he had the cashier's checks of the whole business operations that he was about to cash in. And the cashier's check could have had millions. And so that's why a lot of people were like, dang, it could have been like somebody had known that he was coming to pick up everything from all of his stashes, and they just got him on the day because it was the end of the year. So he was coming back to gather everything, all the money that was made from the year, because Dolph owned multiple businesses. He had a lot of real estate in Memphis. He owned like half of Memphis, and he had all these tax prep companies. He had CPAs and all these businesses that was actually taking care of a lot of people down there. So they were bringing in a lot of income. And so Dolph could have easily been down there to go pick up some bread from that. And then technically could have had a lot of checks in the chrome heart bag with the 100K cash. And then he was going around, and then somebody that must have followed him, that was following him, because you know that it was like at least 6 cars following him around. So once they were following him, then they were like, okay, maybe he got all the bread now. And so they decided to like end up either he willingly went there, or they lured him there, or they took him there or something, but ended up all ending at the Makita's Cookies where it all went down. And that's when you see that he had that bag in the trunk the whole time. And then if you've seen closely at the other videos, you had to binge watch, but you see somebody go into the trunk of the Corvette and take out the bag that had all the bread and money in it. And that was basically a big loot, like a big lick that was hit on it. And so that could have been another reason why that this whole thing happened, was to intercept that. But then again, you got to think of it like, oh, it could have been a lot of, like they were saying, the money on his head. So somebody could have been coming to collect the money on his head that they put out. Because at first people were saying that it was like 100K, 500K on his head. Then they went down to 40K because Grove Hero actually like came out and confirmed and said that it was Big Jook who might have put 40K on Dolph's head. And so that's coming out of Grove Hero's mouth. And for him to say that he's closer to the situation, like he was actually right there as Dolph's right-hand man, and the fact that he was being like, taught a lot of different business things by Dolph. And that's why he had brought up and made like over, 200K during one of his food truck tours and everything, and gave away the Lambo and all that. And so, and the thing is that if Grove Hero was saying that, then they already know, people close to the streets in Memphis, like they already know out there in Dolphland, that it had to have been somebody that was trying to get him already, and they put the money up for it. And that's basically why it was all these people following, because they all wanted a piece of the pie. But ultimately, the people that did it was the ones who did it. And then when the folks rolled by and seen it all in the Bentley truck, that's the craziest thing, because they had that timing is crazy for them to be able to see it all happen and be driving in front of the whole shop while the people are running back. That means if you just rewind it back, and you see them doing it, they would have just been like a few feet, like 10, 20, 30 feet behind. So they actually had seen what would happen. And so the thing is that that's one of the big connections. That's why a lot of people have been saying the Bentley, this and that. And the whole thing is still a lot of details coming out. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment down below, and I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.